Welcome to episode 1 of How to Build a Content Marketing Strategy from Scratch. I'm glad you're here because this first episode sets the foundation for everything else in this course. We're not jumping into tactics today, we're talking about something more important, the why behind content marketing, and why, if you're building a SaaS business, it might just be the single most powerful growth decision you can make. Grab a notebook, let's get into it. Let me start with a question. How is your marketing actually working right now? If you're like most SaaS teams, you're probably running paid ads on Google or LinkedIn, watching leads trickle in while you watch your budget disappear. Or maybe you're posting on social media, LinkedIn on Tuesdays, a tweet here and there with no real strategy behind it and wondering why nothing is converting. Or you're blogging occasionally but getting zero traffic, zero engagement, and quietly asking yourself whether content is even worth it. Here's the truth. Most SaaS companies are playing the wrong game entirely. They're stuck on what I call the paid ads treadmill. The moment you stop spending, the traffic stops, you own nothing. Or they're doing spray and pray random content, no strategy, no compounding effect. Or they're creating content that disappears into the void because no one knows how to get it in front of the right people. There is a better way, and it builds an asset, not a dependency. That's what this course is about. Let's clear up what content marketing actually means because it gets used so loosely that it's almost lost its meaning. The definition I want you to hold on to is this: content marketing is the strategic practice of creating and distributing valuable, relevant content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience and ultimately to drive profitable customer action. Three words in that definition are doing all the heavy lifting. Valuable, it genuinely helps the reader solve a real problem. Not a sales pitch dressed up as an article, not a listicle with nothing original in it, actually useful, relevant. It speaks directly to your specific ICP, their specific pain, their specific goals, and strategic. Every piece of content you create ladders up to a business outcome: brand, pipeline, retention, or all three. If your content isn't hitting all three, it's just content, not content marketing. This is the slide I want you to really sit with because this is the insight that changes everything. Look at this chart. This represents organic traffic from a content program over 7 months. Month one, barely anything. Month two, a little more. Month three, it's starting to move. Month four, now we're talking. Month seven, you build something that generates traffic around the clock with zero additional spend. Here's what makes this so different from paid ads. When you run a Google ad campaign and you stop spending, the traffic stops immediately, full stop. But when you publish a great piece of content, a well researched blog post, a genuinely useful guide, it keeps working. It gets indexed, it gets discovered, it earns backlinks. Someone reads it in month 18 and becomes a customer. Content is not an expense, it's an investment. And like any good investment, it compounds over time. The best SaaS companies figured this out years ago. The companies that haven't figured it out yet are still on the treadmill. Here's a number that stopped me in my tracks when I first read it. Companies that blog generate 67% more leads per month than companies that don't. 67%, not a marginal lift, not a rounding error. Almost double the lead volume just from having a consistent content program. That research comes from Demand Metric and it's been validated across dozens of other studies. The pattern is consistent. Companies that invest in content see significantly more inbound interest than those that rely solely on outbound or paid. Now, think about that in the context of your business. If you could generate 67% more leads next year without spending a single extra dollar on ads, just by building a content engine, would that be worth 12 months of commitment? I think you already know the answer. Content works harder while you sleep. That's the game. I want to be clear about something. I'm not here to tell you paid advertising is bad. It has its place, but I want you to see the structural differences between the two because they're profound. Look at this comparison. Paid ads give you results immediately. The day you launch a campaign, you can get clicks, leads, demos booked. Content marketing, you're looking at 3 to 12 months before you see meaningful results. That's just the reality. And most companies give up before it kicks in, which is exactly why so few have built it well. But here's where the math completely flips. When you stop spending on ads, the traffic stops. Same day, but when you stop writing content, let's say you take a month off, your existing content keeps working. Your rankings hold, your articles still get discovered. You've built something permanent. The biggest difference of all: with paid ads, you're renting an audience. With content, you own it. That's a fundamentally different business position. And over 3, 5, 10 years, the compounding effect of owning your audience is worth far more than any ad campaign you'll ever run. This is the mindset shift that separates the SaaS companies with great content programs from the ones who give up after 6 months. Most marketing teams think in campaigns. A campaign has a start date and an end date, it has a budget, it gets measured over a quarter, and then it's done, and you start from zero again. This is campaign thinking, and it's the wrong mental model for content. The right mental model is asset thinking. Think about your content the way you think about a piece of real estate or a stock portfolio. Your best blog post from 3 years ago is still driving traffic today. It's still answering questions, it's still earning backlinks, it's still converting readers into subscribers. You created it once and it keeps paying you. When you shift into asset thinking, your whole approach changes. You start asking different questions. Not what do we publish this week, but what asset can we build this month that will be driving leads in 2 years? That question leads to much better content and much better results. Two more numbers I want to burn into your memory before we move on. First, most content takes 6 to 12 months to show its full SEO value. This is critical to understand before you start. If you publish a great blog post today and check your rankings in 4 weeks and see nothing, that doesn't mean it's not working. It means the search engines are still catching up. Content marketing has a slow burn. The companies that win are the ones who stay consistent through the months where it feels like nothing is happening. Second, content marketing generates 3 times more leads than outbound and at 62% lower cost. 3 times at nearly half the price. That's not a marginal advantage. That's a structural competitive advantage for any company willing to invest in it consistently. The companies winning in content marketing in 2026 started planting those seeds in 2023. The best time to have started was 2 years ago. The second best time is right now. I want to make this concrete with a real example because it's easy to talk about content in the abstract. Let me show you how Ahrefs actually built their business on it. In 2013, Ahrefs launches very little content, mostly word of mouth, primarily a product built for SEOs. By 2015, they start publishing deeply researched tutorials on SEO and marketing, not thin articles, but genuinely the best guides available anywhere on the internet. By 2017, their blog is hitting over 100,000 monthly organic visitors. No paid ads budget to speak of. By 2019, they launch a YouTube channel that grows to over 200,000 subscribers within 2 years. And by 2023, they are sitting on over 500,000 monthly organic blog visitors, and content is driving the majority of their free trial signups. Here's the key insight. Ahrefs spent their marketing budget on quality content instead of paid ads. They built a library of assets that compound. They own their audience. And today they're competing with billion-dollar companies despite being bootstrapped because their content gives them a distribution advantage that money can't easily replicate. That's the model. Let me bring this back to your specific business. Content marketing does three things for a SaaS company, and all three directly impact revenue. First, it builds brand and trust. 86% of B2B buyers read at least 3 pieces of content before they'll talk to a salesperson. They're researching before they raise their hand. If your content is showing up during that research phase, if your name is already familiar by the time a buyer finds your demo page, you win. You've built trust before the first conversation even happens. Second, it drives qualified pipeline. SEO driven content captures buyers who are actively searching for solutions to the exact problems your product solves. These aren't cold leads. These are people who found your content because they were already looking. Content sourced leads convert at up to 6 times the rate of outbound leads because the intent is already there. Third, and this one surprises people, content reduces churn. Educated customers understand the value of your product more deeply, they use more features, they get more ROI, they're less likely to cancel when a competitor sends them a cold email. Your help content, your use case guides, your customer stories, their retention tools, not just acquisition tools. One more set of numbers, and this one is for anyone in the room who needs to make a business case for investing in content. Over a 3 year period, content marketing delivers 6 times the ROI of traditional outbound marketing. 6 times. And as we mentioned, it does it at 62% lower cost per lead. So you're spending less and getting a return that's 6 times higher. By any financial measure, content marketing is one of the highest ROI activities a SaaS marketing team can invest in. But, and this is the crucial caveat, that ROI takes time to materialize. You don't see it in month one, you might not see it clearly in month three. But by month 12, if you've been consistent and strategic, the numbers start to speak for themselves. So I want to leave you with this question. What could you build with the marketing budget you're currently burning on paid ads every 90 days? What if even half of that went into building a content asset that compounds for years? That's the math worth doing. Before we wrap up, I want to save you from the three most common mistakes I see SaaS teams make when they start a content program because all three are very easy to fall into. Mistake number one, writing for search engines instead of humans. Stuffing keywords into thin, shallow articles that technically rank but don't actually help anyone. Google's algorithms are sophisticated enough now to detect this, and more importantly, your readers are too. The fix is simple. Write the most genuinely useful, complete answer to a question your ICP is actually asking. That's it. Serve the human first, and the rankings will follow. Mistake number two, no distribution strategy. Publishing and praying. You write a great article, you hit publish, you share it once on LinkedIn, and then you wonder why no one's reading it. Publishing is table stakes. Distribution is the game. A rule of thumb I like: spend at least 50% of your content effort on distribution, email, social, communities, internal linking, PR. If you're not doing that, you're leaving most of the value on the table. Mistake number three, giving up too early. This is the biggest one. Expecting results in 30 or 60 days and abandoning the channel when they don't arrive. Content marketing is a 6 to 18-month game at minimum. The companies that commit before they can measure it are the ones who end up dominating their category. Patience is genuinely your competitive moat here. All right, let's put it all together. Three things I want you to walk away with from this episode. Number one, content is an asset, not an expense. Every piece of content you publish adds permanent compounding value to your business. Stop thinking in campaigns with start and end dates. Start thinking like an investor building a portfolio of assets. Your best piece of content 2 years from now will be something you wrote today. Number two, patience is your competitive mode. Most of your competitors will start a content program, not see results in 3 months, and quit. If you stay consistent for 12 months, just 12 months, you will be ahead of the vast majority of companies in your space. The bar is not that high, you just have to actually do it. Number three, quality plus distribution beats quantity every single time. One deeply useful, well distributed piece of content is worth more than 10 mediocre posts that nobody reads. Start with fewer, better pieces. Build your distribution engine alongside your content engine. That combination is what turns a content program into a genuine business asset. In episode 2, we're getting into the mechanics because knowing that content marketing is powerful is one thing. Knowing exactly what to measure, what to aim for, and how to connect it to revenue is what makes it real. In the next episode, we'll cover how to set content goals that are tied to pipeline rather than vanity metrics. We'll look at the 5 KPIs every SaaS content team should track. I'll show you how to connect your content program to your CRM so leadership can actually see the impact. And we'll build out a 90-day goals dashboard you can start using immediately. If you found this episode useful, subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you want a head start, there's a link in the description to download the full content strategy template, a workbook that walks you through building your strategy step by step, including all the frameworks we covered today. I'll leave you with this. The best time to start content marketing was 2 years ago. The second best time is right now. Every week you wait is a week your competitors might be publishing, ranking, building an audience, earning trust. Content compounds, which means starting sooner is always worth more than starting perfectly. So here's what I want you to do before you watch episode 2. Download the content strategy template in the description. Fill in the first two sections, your business context and your ICP. Just those two. It takes 20 minutes and it will make episode 2 10 times more valuable because you'll already have your foundations in place. Subscribe for episode 2. Share this with someone building a SaaS marketing team who needs to hear it. And drop a comment below with the biggest content challenge you're facing right now. I read every single one and it directly shapes what we cover in future episodes. See you in episode 2.